It's interesting. We're debating artificial intelligence, but we're still struggling with the human common sense. And that's exactly why today isn't really about tech literacy. It's about leadership wisdom, because we've taught machines to move faster. The question is, can we remember how to move people? Artificial intelligence can accelerate decisions, but only humans can own the consequences. Every week, a new breakthrough appears, a smarter model, a faster tool, a system promising to save time and transform work. And many of those tools are remarkable. But while technology is becoming more intelligent, many people are becoming more exhausted, more anxious, more disconnected. So the real question is not whether machines can think like us. The real question is, will we forget what makes us human? Today, I want to talk to you about one advantage no algorithm can replace: the human edge. Years ago, I walked into an office on Wall Street and it was operating far below potential, put it mildly. Pipeline had slipped 23%. Meetings ended with that terrible silence. Top performers were quietly interviewing elsewhere. And the stress was so high and the trust was so low. People were protecting themselves instead of helping each other. There was no technology problem in that office. There was a human problem. People didn't feel seen. They didn't feel safe. They didn't feel connected to a shared mission. So we didn't start with software. We started with culture. We rebuilt it, two simple rituals. First, a 90-second check-in, real talk check-ins. And hey, how are you really doing? What matters most today? Where do you need help? And the second was public commitments. And so what will you own this week? And what support do you need to make that happen? So in just 12 weeks, voluntary help requests tripled and the revenue followed. So when people feel connected, they contribute. When people feel trusted, they take ownership. When people feel valued, they rise. The greatest breakthroughs in business are often human breakthroughs. That was the human edge. That's where we live today, right? We live in a world of extraordinary capability. We can message anyone instantly, join meetings from anywhere in the world, and access knowledge in just seconds, and automate tasks that used to take hours in seconds, right? We have more tools than any generation in history, and yet more tools, more alerts, more dashboards, less belonging. People are drowning in information and they're starving for acknowledgement. We solve for speed, but we forget to solve for meaning. We optimize calendars, we neglect connection. We improve systems, but ignore the human nervous system. And think about the exhausted manager smiling on Zoom, the employee carrying grief in silence, the leader succeeding outwardly while unraveling inwardly. This is not a technology issue. It's a human issue. Now, let me be clear. I'm not anti-AI. I use it. I believe in it. It can help us in extraordinary ways we haven't even thought of yet. AI can accelerate research, reduce repetitive work, and improve its efficiency. But the winners won't use AI everywhere. They'll use it when it compounds human judgment, because the human edge is becoming more valuable, not less. AI processes data. Humans create meaning. AI generates answers. Humans build trust. AI optimizes systems. Humans inspire courage. AI predicts behavior. Humans choose values. AI simulates humans. Humans feel love. This is the human edge. I want to share a $38 million lesson. I like to call it. It's a few years ago. I got a call from a law firm, a big major partner in a major firm in New York City. He said, "Hey, we're about to invest $8 million into this tech startup. Checked it out, but before we move, I'd love to get your read." And so I said, "Absolutely." So that night we met at an upscale wine bar in New York, and then in walked the founder, a tall, strapping, confident, impeccably dressed person in a purple Armani suit and a movie star presence. And on his hand, I saw it looked like a Super Bowl ring. He said he had told us he played for the Patriots and went to Ole Miss and knew all the right people. The attorney was impressed. And honestly, let's face it, anybody would have been impressed. And part of me really wanted to believe him too. It was a great story. But then something inside of me whispered, this doesn't really add up. Not because of just one thing, because of everything. The story was too polished, too polished. And the signals were perfect, too perfect. The next morning, they asked, well, what did you think? I said, I think we need to verify everything. So we did. We called the Patriots. He never played there. We called Ole Miss. He never attended. The identity was fiction. The complete story was fiction. And that one uncomfortable instinct saved them $8 million. The spreadsheets looked fine. The pitch decks, they looked fine. The credentials, they looked great. They're all there. They looked fine. But really, what was hiding, it was wasn't in an algorithm, is what they could feel. The tone, the inconsistency, the human intuition. That's the human edge leaders can't automate. So what are the qualities no machine can replace? Let's peel them back. Okay, so first is presence. Close the laptop, name what you're noticing. Wait 3 breaths longer than feels comfortable, right? That's presence. You can take that in. But courage, right? You tell the truth kindly before the numbers force you to. Empathy, ask, what's the hard thing I'm not hearing yet? Creativity, gosh, that's one big one, right? It's protect one untouchable hour each week. No inputs, no noise, just thinking. And trust. Every business relationship is based on trust. So we want to do those small things consistently in public and do the hard things consistently in private. And love. Make decisions that may cost you now, but compound your people later. And meaning, tie today's grind to tomorrow's story. These are not soft skills. These are strategic skills. They are future skills. And they are the human edge. So the real risk, most often, most organizations, is they don't lose their edge really in or humanity during calm seasons. They lose it under pressure. The missed quarter, the failed launch, the angry client, the shrinking margin. That's when blame rises and control tightens. Fear spreads when speed becomes the only KPI. When speed becomes the only KPI, fear becomes the only culture. So let me ask you one question. If your top talent felt fully seen this quarter, what would change? That answer reveals your gap. So I want to share something I call the love switch. It's a technology I came up with to help people in those moments when pressure rises, you're faced when things go sideways. But technology alone can't save us. We need an inner operating system and a way to lead ourselves before we lead others. And there's 5 R's. I'll go through them briefly. But the first one is to recognize, name the signal. Is it fear, ego, disconnection? What's going on here? Then reset is the second R. By a breath, shoulders down, voice calm. The third R is to reframe what matters most here, not who is to blame. And the fourth is to respond. And then we respond with clarity first, then courage, then care. And finally, we reconnect to our mission, our person, and our purpose in that order. That is how leaders protect the human edge. So let's look at a practical example. Just say your team misses a deadline. The old way, we'd blame somebody. We'd put pressure on them, and there'd be this silence. But the new way, everything surfaces. The real constraint. Reset the scope. Agree on one safeguard for next time. And the next sprint cycle time drops 14%. Belonging rises. The issue wasn't a missed deadline. It was how leadership responded. But before I close, I want to ask you one question. Where does speed outrun meaning in your organization? Because that is where your next leadership breakthrough is waiting. So, no, the future will not belong to the fastest stack. It's nice to think it would, isn't it? It will belong to the clearest, most human leaders. Use algorithms everywhere you can, but build what no algorithm can, and that's trust, courage, and meaning. The world of automation be unforgettable. In a world of answers, be wisdom. Faster than ever, be the person who makes others feel human again. Because the greatest technology on earth is still the human heart. Thank you.